Welcome to the 420 Minute. I'm Deneen Shoemaker. So I had a really interesting conversation with a pastor friend of mine this last week, and he came in and I could tell there was a lot of weight on his shoulders, and so just asked him how he was and how things were going, and he just said, I'm just dealing with the same thing every pastor and every church is dealing with. And I said, well, what's that? He says, this human sexuality. And so an interesting conversation started. And I got to tell you, because I know his theology and I try to understand my own theology, I kind of thought, this might not end well, but sure, I'll dive in with you. And I'm not going to get into all the particulars about our conversation. But here's what I want to talk with you about this week. And that is the reflection that I had really after our conversation. And I find it interesting that there are a large number of Christians who come from this spot in their theology, and they feel very rightful about this, that homosexuality is basically that anything apart from heterosexuality is a mistake, is a sin, is wrong. And that just kept rolling around in my head. And so the thought that I had was, why does that have to be a mistake? What if homosexuality is not a mistake? What if God actually created human beings in this fashion? I just am so intrigued how, I guess maybe people who come at it from this bent maybe have never been in a position where they've questioned their sexuality, or where they've even maybe taken a real truthful look at what sexuality really looks like. I get that there's a lot of different opinions on this matter. I think I'm right. But it never really occurred to me exactly like it did that day after that conversation. And so I really would like to change the conversation. Why does sexuality always have to revolve around procreation? I mean, God made us for relationship with God's self. So then isn't God all about relationship? And yes, in some relationships, physical intimacy can certainly be a part of that. But the basis of the whole thing is love. And when asked what the most important commandment was, Jesus said, know that God is God and that there is one true God. And then love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. And then he says the second most important command is equal. And it is this: love your neighbor as you love yourself. And like I said last week, we don't necessarily have to love all of our neighbor's actions, but boy, to tell me that all of my friends in the gay community are a mistake, That's not love. And that's certainly not what Jesus is saying. So I wish you all a grace and peace filled week. Live your best life right now. Start it today, because this ain't no dress rehearsal.